Right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for those of you guys that have joined. Very much appreciate your time. We will be looking at our second SMBsecure ASP enablement session today, specifically with regards to our SendGuard Lite enablement. Again, same procedure as last week. If there are any questions, by all means, please add them in the chat box. We will try to address them all in a timely fashion. Also, if you have any takeaways that you would like to have afterwards in terms of questions as well, feel free to send them over via mail or your preferred medium of communication. Again, this will be recorded, so for your team members that aren't unfortunately able to join us for this one, they'll be able to utilize that resource to see this particular presentation. But be that as it may, Amit, are we ready to get this one running?
Yeah, thanks for that introduction there, Jacob, and welcome to you, PRS, as well as all that are joining you this. Just confirm you are seeing the slide deck well there. All good, Jacob?
All good, all good. Everyone is thumbs up.
All right, perfect. All right, so I think the first question or the first place to start, I know some know about it, but maybe just to bring everybody up to speed. SendGuard Lite 365, what is it? And just to confirm that it is also known as SendConfirm Lite. So SendGuard Lite 365 is the suite. SendGuard is the suite. SendConfirm Lite is the functionality included with the SMBsecure bundle. There is a bigger product that we can't elaborate on or get to if and when a requirement comes up. But what is the SendGuard Lite 365? Well, first and foremost, it is an add-in for Outlook that your ASPs and admins can add for any of their customers. It is included with the advanced subscriptions. You cannot add this to standard or essential subscriptions. It's only part of the advanced subscriptions, and you get it included. If you choose to deploy it or not, that's totally up to an ASP admin's decision. It can work with both classic Outlook as well as new Outlook, both on Windows PC and Mac or new Outlook. So phenomenal capability there. It does aim to mitigate the risk of unintended data exposure. And we see this as quite a major challenge, as quite a big problem for some of the organizations or companies, because there are implications that many do not understand. And there's already been cases in South Africa where people had to provide formal notice on their website and through email, explaining that they've accidentally exposed people's information because they mailed something sensitive, maybe a spreadsheet or a document or something, to the wrong person or wrong people. And so the basic question that your ASPs can ask is essentially, asking their customer, have they ever sent email to the wrong person? We know it can happen. We know it's, commonplace. And so what we're trying to do is help mitigate that risk. And so SendGuard Lite 365 it's a really simple add-in, but it's supporting a science-based need for a user to stop, think, and check. Just those three simple things can really help save the day, especially with fast thinkers and people who operate, quickly. It does make all the difference just to prompt or pause them for a moment to kind of look into who they're sending it to. So SendGuard Lite 365, its primary mandate or use case is to stop confidential information from getting emailed to unintended recipients. It allows the user to review and confirm recipients when emails are being sent out. And the capabilities surrounding this are very simplistic in nature. One could automatically display the list of recipients or attachments when the user clicks send. One could control when the prompt appears, for all emails, external emails only, etc. You can control what to display, the full email address or domains only. And one can control this from the settings screen, or the administrator can centrally control this. It also includes the BCC reply guard functionality, so that it does give you a notification if you hit reply on an email and you were blind copied, unbeknown to everybody, it will warn and caution you that you were blind copied. Are you really wanting to reply to all on this email? Because it will expose that you were blind copied. So a question for the MSPs out there, what is the technical or IT term for sending to wrong people? We're not expecting any answers. It's just a prompting question. But the technical term of what we're talking about here today is misdirected email. And that is the technical term that we use, or IT term that we use, when users will send an email unintentionally to a wrong individual or wrong people. And so this is really what the add-in is built in for, and what it's designed to protect against. So controlling this add-in is really straightforward. There's nothing too much to it. It is, very easy to deploy because it is baked into 365 and it's fully available on the 365 store. You can install this directly from inside of Outlook. You will just go to your Add Apps menu, and it's on the Microsoft Store. You will simply search Send Confirm. It's there already. You add it into your Outlook, and it will automatically license because it will pull from your Microsoft subscription ID or your email address, and it will automatically license, of course, if you have an active subscription. So there's nothing too much to do for the user there. You can also push this add-in centrally from your admin center. So you can deploy to all of your users from the back end through your 365 admin center, and it will automatically enable and be available within the Outlook for your users. It will auto-activate using either the 365 subscription ID or the email address linked into that account, which we will cover shortly on a demo just to show you where you do that in the portal. Now, talking of the portal, it is really straightforward, really simple, but it's there to give the admins capability for centrally controlling the settings that you might want to, navigate or change on a specific computer or set of computers. It is allowing to recycle licenses. So if a machine crashed or the user is no longer and you need to reclaim that license to move to another user or another machine, then you can control that on the back end without too much extra effort. Really cool, really simple. And you can also manage the deployment control from the back end here as well, using the simple portal, which is the SMBsecure SendGuard 365 portal. And we'll cover that shortly in demo. So that's in essence what the portal is about. And, we'll show you that briefly. What are the user benefits? Well, if I have to draw it, to three major benefits. Well, first and foremost, there's a confirmation prompt that allows a user to at least just check or recheck the recipients they are sending it to. And the app automatically extracts the fully qualified email address. So normally the common problem in Outlook is that you just have display name, and it's very easy and simple for a user to just select, an incorrect or wrong person as part of that email that they're sending to. I could be sending to Jacob, but it's the wrong Jacob that I'm sending to. And so the app will automatically prompt and show the fully qualified email addresses there, and allows the user to kind of check that again and to send. Or if they realize, oops, I'm actually sending to the wrong person here, then they can simply go back and change, modify, or add the correct person. And Jacob, that simple act can truly save a company in terms of sending data to the wrong person mistakenly. It also allows for email backout, which is a really cool function because there's several studies out there, and a lot of them show that more than 83% of users realize they've made a mistake literally just seconds after hitting the send button. And uh, this one is there to catch that. You probably looking at your first few texts on the email, and it's like, oh, I typed that wrong, or I forgot to add the attachment or something. And it allows that user to just, after they've hit send, to just back out, do their changes, and then send again. So it is a really, really cool option. And it supports, this common use case that we see where it's so simple. You make an error, you hit the send button, and oops, literally seconds after that. And we know that the current email recall method is unreliable. It depends on various factors, whether email can truly be recalled, because once it hits a receiving server, especially if that is not in the Microsoft ecosystem, it's near impossible. In fact, by recalling an email, you actually prompt the recipient on the other side, because it'll say, Amit's trying to recall this email, to actually open that email and check exactly what you were trying to send. Okay, so the use case is, let's try and avoid that, catch it before it happens, and hopefully by catching it before it happens, you don't get into that scenario, or you get less scenarios of having to recall email. It's not to say that it's 100% foolproof, but it is going a long way to help reduce that risk. Now, we have created collateral for this as well. So you can have a look at the website if you're needing to know about it or how to position it. We have an SMBsecure branded info sheet, but we also have these new brandable info sheets. And part of the kind of follow up for this session today, you will receive the info sheet from CRS, the brandable one, so you can drop your company logo and contact info on the bottom, just in the PDF, and you can use that to discuss this with your customers. And remember, if they are taking advanced subscriptions, they will receive this capability or functionality automatically. And it's for you, the MSP admin, to just simply turn it on or deploy it to that customer's Outlook or PC. Really, really straightforward and simple. Hopefully there's some questions that's starting to come through, and those are queuing in so that we can answer them towards the end. But these will be provided to you at the end of the session or as part of the follow-up here. So let me just spend a moment talking about the use case for this stuff. There are SA implications, right, for misdirected emails. I've seen it myself personally, where a certain financial services provider literally had to put a big red banner on their website and disclose, per the POPI Act, that they had wrongfully sent emails, and it was very embarrassing for them. But of course, that's what the regulator said they needed to do. They also had to provide an actual breach notification. So an unauthorized email disclosure in South Africa, obviously, where an email containing confidential or private information is mistakenly sent to the wrong recipients, can have legal and ethical implications for your customer there. And this is because there is a requirement under the POPI Act where a data breach could be construed. So what are the legal and ethical implications? Well, first and foremost, it's data breach. Sending an email containing especially personal information to unintended recipients can be considered a data breach under the POPI Act. And this can lead to, potential legal actions or penalties for the responsible party, which would be your customer, the sender of that actual email. And so, this has real implication. There are privacy concerns where unauthorized disclosure of private information can lead to harm to individuals, including financial losses, reputational damage, or discrimination. And so you could be called to task because of that, or your customer would be. There could be civil or criminal liability attached to this as well, because under law in South Africa, separate to POPI, we also have the ECT Act, or what we know as the Electronic Communications and Transactions Act. And there are implications under that act for unauthorized disclosure of information, which will include emails as part of that. And so there could be civil or criminal penalties relating to the ECT Act as part of this, risk that gets brought up here. There are then also ethical considerations here. Sending confidential information to unintended recipients obviously can damage trust. It can violate professional ethics, depending on your organization or nature, and it can create unnecessary risk for the parties that's involved here. So hopefully, as a use case example, this positions why it's so important. And guys and ladies, you don't have to buy this. It is included in SMBsecure Advanced. It's merely a matter of explaining the risk and benefit to your customer and deploying it and enabling it for them. In fact, it is a mandatory requirement if you take out the cyber warranty, because it's part of risk mitigation for data breach. And so a very important consideration. So there are other use cases, but this is the primary one and the main reason why you are doing it and using it. So especially if you are selling into certain types of industries or organizations, it's very valid. But in theory, everybody needs it, right? Because it's so easy to make that mistake, especially with Outlook autocomplete. And let me reiterate, it is not 100% foolproof because it's still user dependent, but at least it allows that user to stop, to think, and to correct or to take action, before they actually send this out. So it's an interception of that send that happens on your Outlook email and to give you that prompt. Hopefully that makes sense and it's simple enough to understand. So with that, I'm going to hand this now back to Jacob to basically go through the portal and just show you a quick demo, and we'll have a quick fire session of question and answers, and we can go from there. So Jacob, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Amit. Very much appreciate your going through those slides and everything that you had showed us there. So I'm just going to show a demo real quick. It is a fairly simplistic solution, a fairly simplistic component of the SMBsecure service bundle. So what you guys can see at the moment is my management portal. So I will resend all of the logins for all of our ASPs, as well as that marketing material that you guys would utilize to send over to your respective customers. So it is quite simplistic. So at the moment, we're looking at a demo client. We'd be able to have an understanding of exactly how much quantity in terms of licenses we have, subscription, which would come within that specific use case as well. If we want to manage that, we'd be able to have this view over here in order to help us manage our users and etc., right? And being able to have an understanding from a general M365 perspective, seeing the whole management portal as well. So quite simplistic, very easy to get up to grips with in terms of the solution, and that's the logins will be sent via mail to the various ASPs as we go along. So if there are any questions, do let me know. But again, as I mentioned, right, quite simplistic. There isn't too much to show. It's generally this is where you'd be managing all of that. So
Jacob, if I can just pause you there for a moment. If you just go to the bottom of that screen. Okay, so you see that manage users. Now, it is set to automatically assign that license. So when you install, it binds to your Microsoft subscription ID. So if you had to deploy it on that customer's endpoint manually, just by going into add apps, it will automatically activate it'll pull a license and that user will be listed here automatically. If that user's email address was different to the subscription ID, or you're wanting to allocate a license specifically or recycle it, you can go ahead and add user and then put in that user's email address. And so when that app is deployed on that user's computer, it'll see that email address here in their subscription. And because of that link, it will automatically activate. So that's what I was referring to when I was talking about automatic activation using your Microsoft or M365 subscription ID. It'll pick up from that backend with your 365 subscription, and it automatically just shows that list of users here, and you can recycle them by removing and adding users as you need here, and automatically controlling the licensing on the front end. And just slightly above there, Jacob, you see the license count if you scroll slightly. So you can see it's currently defaulted to on a first come, first serve basis. And so in the case of this customer, if they were to deploy to 15 PCs, then they've got 20 licenses and it will show 15 licenses consumed. If they hit that count, then of course it will give a licensing error and won't be able to activate, and you can upgrade to more SMBsecure licenses from there. And so that is the deployment component. Just go up again, Jacob, before you move off here. Okay, so just going into that 365 settings. Okay, so that is where you would centrally control the settings, as I mentioned during the slide deck. You'll change them here or you'll toggle them here, and they automatically push to all the Outlooks out there and to the apps. So right now it's very simplistic in that it's just tenant based, so not really customized per user. However, you can override on each individual user's machine if you want to change that. There's a little settings menu in Outlook, and you can go and override that setting. But it's very simplistic. Just a note that when you make settings through here, sometimes there could be a sync delay by the time the setting hits because it goes via the Microsoft tenant. So there could be a 2 to 3 hour delay by the time it actually hits that PC because it's all controlled through Microsoft. So hopefully that clarifies. I'm sure the questions are queuing up, so we'll answer them towards the end. All right, Jacob, back to you. Sorry for interjecting there.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, so that is that. So speaking around the Outlook conversation, let us have a look in terms of how you would go about actually installing. Give me a moment. As Amit had mentioned in his presentation, it is generally part of your Microsoft already, so there isn't any additional config that you need to do. It's pretty easy to find. So we would go on all apps. As you can see, I already have that installed there. Add apps. And let's search for SendGuard. You search results, and there we go, right? So we'd be able to find that there.
Well, this will be Send Confirm Lite, Jacob, this one, yeah, the bundled one.
Okay.
SendGuard will be the full product, and there won't be license for that free of charge.
Got it. Perfect. So here you would have that, and you'd be able to add it, and then pretty much ready to go, right? And that would be part of your SMBsecure bundle. Okay. In terms of actually utilizing it, we would have the various emails. For example, we're doing a demo that we're sending to these specific emails. If we want to send this out, let's just show you guys how that would look like. And I would get this prompt, right? So you're sending it to 3 recipients, then you just have to double check that there, confirm if these are the correct recipients. If they aren't, obviously don't send, then adjust if necessary. And if they are, send away, then you'd be good to go from there. Okay, so fairly simplistic, pretty straightforward to get an understanding of. I think that pretty much runs that in terms of the demo. There isn't too much more that there is to show. I guess we can take this opportunity.
In your Outlook ribbon there, Jacob, before you move up, just close that. In your Outlook ribbon there's the settings. Send confirm. You can click that. And so it opens a pane in Outlook. And of course, you can see there your subscription is activated. There's the settings, and you can override. So the settings would have come from the tenant on the back end, pushing through your M365 admin center. But you can see there, got those settings, and you can override and change those settings there.
Perfect. Awesome. I think that's about that then. We'll utilize the last 5 minutes of this one to handle some questions. So if there are any questions, please populate them in the chat. Let me just scroll here to find a couple. I see Matthew wrote a question. Is there logging in the management portal, which would show whether users accepted or ignored the prompt and sent the email anyway?
Not in SendGuard Lite. I would need to just check that with the developers, but the full-blown SendGuard product has got full auditing functions for exactly that purpose. Just note that. We will, we will kind of note that and respond to you then, Matt.
Yeah, perfect. I think a couple of people are writing in some of their questions, but if you think we might not get to your question, please also reach us WhatsApp, emails, just to ensure that we're all aligned, because ultimately this is all about aligning with you guys, so we are able to show you the best value that the solution can bring to your clientele as well. All good at that point. Yeah, please do follow us on the various pages. There are also further sessions that we'll be having going forward, so please do join us on that as well. I see Craig has come up with the question, does this work with a Microsoft 365 personal subscription?
Yes, that was just added literally about a week ago. So absolutely, it does. Yeah.
Perfect. So in that way, we'd be able to provide Craig's clients that value that they ultimately
correct. And it also supports, so obviously on the personal subscription, the Outlook.com and all of that stuff, it works, and it will bind automatically on the back end of Microsoft to all of that. And again, you'll just go all apps, find the app, add it, and it will bind and then basically activate through that back end. Really simple.
Perfect. Yeah, awesome. Any last questions that anyone may have whilst we still all together at this point? If there are, please don't hesitate to write them in the chat box. Okay. Awesome. I think perhaps we'll leave it at that. If there are any questions as mentioned, do let us know. See, Ryan has come up with a last minute question there. Does it bypass Microsoft's spam cop?
No, it doesn't.
All right, perfect. Hope that answers your question there, Ryan. All good. Yeah. So given that, I think we can pretty much call it there. Give everyone back a minute or two of their day. Thank you guys so much once again for joining us on this one. Very much appreciated. Again, if there are any questions, let us know. We will be doing these sessions going forward, and yeah, hope to see you in those ones as well. Thank you, everyone.